Welcome to Mercy's Designs. My name is Mercy and I demonstrate Stampin' Up products. Today I'm going to show you this fun fold card, and I'm calling this a Fridge Flaps Fun Fold A7 card. So it's sort of like the Flaps card where you can open it up and it flips up, and then this one I combine the two flaps to one so you can have more of an impact, and when you open it up you have a place to write your sentiment, and I just added some DSP here. So I thought this card lent itself perfectly to a great spring set, and the main set I'm using is Flowering Rain Boots, and this one will be retiring in May. And then I brought in Home and Garden for some of the tools, also extremely cute set. And I even brought in Happy Hedgehogs, and finally the butterfly on Daffodil Daydream. Now it does have a butterfly in the Happy Hedgehog set, but I wanted something a little larger, so I brought that in. So as far as dies are concerned, this is from the Amazing Thanks. And then this one, Tasteful labels I brought in for the inside here, right here. So that is also a retiring die set, and you don't want to miss out on that one. So I did a lot of things beforehand. One of the things that I did want to concentrate on is showing you how I made this fold, because it is actually a lot simpler than you might think. And I really thought adding this black mat behind it just really makes it pop, and it adds strength to it. So I'm going to bring in the first layers, and the first layers are my Granny Apple Green, and this one I should probably bring in what I wrote here, so if you can see that. So the base is 4 by 6 3/4, and then the mat is a little larger, 1/4 inch larger. And this will fit in an A7 envelope. Now it won't reach the whole thing because it's 4 1/4, but that doesn't matter, but it is the 7 inches. So I just wanted to mention that. So you will start off with the base like this. Then you will need a piece of cardstock that this top flap measures, here, let me get my thing here. This measures 2 3/4 by 4 inches. And then this one, of course, is the 6 3/4 by 4 inches. Oh, I mean, this one, I should say what this one is. It's 4 1/2 by 4 1/2. And I scored it over here 1/2 inch. So in order to have it a little bit neater, I would suggest just clip off little corners of your, where the flap is, like so, and then burnish those score lines. I must have a little glue on here. That's not good. It makes it a little harder, but it's okay. So then you will want to burnish this, and I always start off with the top flap with attaching it. Now, if you want it extra strong, you can bring in your tear and tape. So I will go ahead and do that. Now, with the tear and tape, some of you probably know this, but you can add liquid glue over it, and the liquid glue helps you slide it into place if you do not have a really good, you know, you didn't place it at first really well. That helps, and plus it adds more strength. So I'm just going to look over here and then just guide it up like that. So don't worry if it oozes a little, that will be covered with our mat. So I'm not too concerned about that. That looks good so far. And I do have a little bit of glue on myself. That's unfortunate. So again, this tab is a 1/2 inch, and that was, I didn't think I needed to show that part because it's very straightforward. You just put it either in your scoring board or on your cutting tool and use the scoring portion. So, oh, that I did not mean to do. Whoops. So I'm just going to keep adding this, and then the next part will be working on that insert inside, and that is the only somewhat tricky part. Oh, wrong direction here. Okay, so what you want to do here is line it up so it doesn't interfere, but you don't have a gap. And then you can ensure, you know, like hold it down here and look over here, make sure it's all in, and it looks really good. So this is what the first part looks like. And then on the back, you have these seams. Now, this will be covered. You could do an exact same size mat, but I loved how it looked with popping it out. And if you did the exact same size, it would fit into a business size envelope. So I just wanted to mention that. But because the 5x7 card size is so standard, it's easy to find it. I found some envelopes on Amazon. So I just thought, though, adding that little border just really makes it pop. So just adding this carefully, and ta-da. Just slide it into place if it seems a little off, and that looks really good. Okay, so the next part is I'm going to bring in my trimmer, and this I'm going to be cutting for that insert. So the insert would be what's in here, and I do have a template for that, and it just really shows how I cut everything. So the DSP I'm going to be using this is part of the Valentine's Day DSP, and as you know, a lot of those they give a side that is not sort of holiday-ish. So the first thing I'm going to do here is score this, and the steps are pretty simple, but I wouldn't deviate from the order. So I'm lining this up at 2 1/8, and then I'm just going to score down the center. So I'm going to quickly burnish this because it will make it slightly easier when I go to form everything if it's burnished. Okay, just add real quick. Okay, so the next part is step 2, which is you line up on the side. I'm just going to slide up my scoring board up here. So we're going to line this up at 1 inch over to the right. So this is 1 inch, and now I'm going to be cutting. So I'm just going to make sure this is lined up correctly, and it looks good, and I'm going to drop the blade. So if you can see this, I'm going to 3 inches, and then I'm just going up to 1 1/4, or you could do this down. I wrote it out that you go down, but it really doesn't matter. The point is 1 1/4 to 3 inches, that amount. So it's less than 2 inches, this part. And then you're gonna rotate it 180 and do the exact same thing. So I'm gonna go down from 1 1/4, and I'm gonna stop at 3 inches exactly. So the final step here, well, not final, is now we're going to add the score lines right here. This is step number 3. So I'm gonna line it up at 1 1/4 now over here. So I'm just going to pop this back in, put it where I need it, and this time I'm scoring it between those cut marks, these slits, right here and here. Turn it 180 again, line it up at 1 1/4 here on that side ruler, and score again. So now we are done with that, and what you're left with is this. So eventually you're gonna want that to pop up, right? So this becomes valleys, and then this also, these also become valleys, and what we're gonna do is gently fold it forward. So it's really very simple, and with the designer series paper, it's a lot easier than if you were trying to do this with cardstock. If you're doing it with cardstock, it just doesn't lay as well. So there, it's now finished, and that was super simple, I thought. Okay, so we're gonna bring back in our card base, And we're going to go ahead and add this right away. So it's going to go right here. And all you need to do is have some liquid glue. Now, I suggest doing one side at a time, either the top or the bottom. I'm going to do the bottom. So I'm just adding some glue, not a ton. And I'm going to place it so that it's in the seam. And obviously I was skipping this rectangle in the center, the pop-up. And I'm just setting it down. And I'm just making sure here that it's not interfering with that score line. So there, that's also in a way. So now all I do is add a little bit more glue on this side. And I pop it into place. And boom, it should come out just right. Now it won't like lay too flat, but I don't think that's a big deal. You could try to make it that way, but the closed position is what you eventually want. So before you decorate, I do suggest adding the Velcro dots. So I have some Velcro dots here. These are thin ones, and I'm just going to tear these apart. So one side is a little bit harsher than the other. So I like doing that, the harsher side up here. And the reason why I suggest doing this before decorating is because you want to work around these. You don't want to have them in the way when you're decorating. So I'm just going to pop this down and ta-da. So for the next part, I'm going to speed it up because really this part is just decorating, and you can just gather what you need to know from the decorating. So sit back and I will start decorating. Okay, so here is the finished insert, and I think it's just adorable. So as you can see, the card does look kind of like a refrigerator in size, but hopefully more elegant. I think it's super cute. I did not add anything too exact here. At first these Velcros are really tight, but then they loosen up some. Anyway, I didn't stamp anything in the center. I thought I could do that at the last minute if I want to make this into a birthday card or that thank you, whatever. So I thank you for watching my tutorial. If you have any questions or stamping needs, please email me at mewants3@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to help you place an order with the host code. If you have any other questions, please be sure to look in the description. I will try to list the things I have on these sheets so that you can have it. And then also here, this template And I will also take some still shots. So thanks again for watching, and happy stamping. Oh, I will show it real quick one more time. So it just pops open like that, and then open the fridge, and this is where you can write your note. Thanks again for watching. Happy stamping.